All right. Look, I've talked about this before, but apparently we can't talk about it enough. Now, keep in mind, this is a point I've been making for years now. Years. And there's even channels I really like on here that say this, right? A lot of family members of mine say this, right? I don't even know. They probably don't know why they say it, but they say it. It's like a tradition, you know? You got to take it from the champion. All right. Now, on one hand, it's kind of an obvious statement. If the champion has the belt, then you need to beat the champion to take the belt, right? I mean, that's like at that point, right? But that's not what's meant by the statement. We all know that, right? What's implied is that if you're the challenger and you're fighting the champion, you have to be not just one level above the champion, like 3-4 levels above him. Like, you got to show without no doubt whatsoever, all right, that you're better. You got to beat the shit out of the champion. You got to take it from him, right? If a round is close, they're going to give it to the champion because he's the champion. That's it. You got to show that little extra when you're the challenger. Now, I've always thought of this as just bullshit and garbage, right? It's not a scoring criteria. This is a narrative that's been put out there, and it's just not true. Put your opinion aside for a moment and just listen, right? Listen to me, okay? Let me tell you some other things I've heard that are just ridiculous, right? Things like this. If the championship rounds are the most important rounds in a fight. If you win the championship rounds, it doesn't matter what happened in the rest of the fight. Those are the championship round. Like, what do you mean by that? What does that even mean? They're the most important rounds in the fight because it's towards the end of the fight, right? Let me tell you what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean it's not like the championship round are scored double, right? Oh, if you win a championship round, you don't get 10 points. You get 11 points. Like, no. Okay, it's not. They're still scored. Like, round 1 is equally as important as round 12 scoring the fight. Period. You can call it championship round. You can call it Super Saiyan round. You can call it the rounds, whatever you want to call them. Right? Every single round is scored individually. Period. It doesn't matter. Like, he won the first half and he won the second half, but the second half is more important because that has a championship. No. Just score each round individually, right? That's it. So I can't stand that one. And HBO put that narrative out, by the way. They put that narrative out. Look, De La Hoya, Trinidad, right? Most people felt De La Hoya won. But some were making a case that he didn't deserve to win because he ran in the last few rounds. Okay. Now, if you want to make a case that, no, I think I scored it for Trinidad. I give him this round, that round. I think he edged out the fight. I'm not going to argue with you. That's not what this is about. This is about the narrative that HBO was putting out there, right? That they were literally saying this. It was like on ESPN and the whole nine, right? No, the championship rounds 10, 11, and 12 are like the fourth quarter in football. I mean, you can't run in those rounds. If you give up those rounds, you're giving up the fight. Like what? Says who? Like what? Who makes up this shit? You can't make this shit up. Larry Merchant and them, like just pushing that stupid narrative. That's not true. If you want to make the case that Trinidad won, then make the case round per round. Don't make up fictional shit. Like if you win 10, 11, and 12, I mean, that's the fight. Like, no, it's not. Right? That's not true. As fans, when we're watching a fight, are we more emotionally invested in the last 3 rounds? Of course. Right? It's coming to a close. But when it comes to scoring, each round is equally as important. That's it. Every single round, equally as important. Every single last one of them. Right? I mean, I don't think enough, even some fans, boxing fans, understand the concept that each round is scored individually. I don't think people understand that concept. I just don't. Like, they know there's a 10-month system, right? But they don't understand that concept. Like Howard Letterman, right? He has been scoring fights for HBO for I don't know how many years, right? He once said the following. It was, I believe, the second fight of Pacquiao versus the third of the second. It was one of them. And Letterman said the following. He said, and I quote, "For defense, I got to give it to Pacquiao because Marquez is bleeding. Look at the damage in the face. So by default, he's going to give, in the scoring criteria, every single round to Pacquiao because Marquez was bleeding. That's asinine. That's stupid. So if you get punched in the face round 1, and that punch that cuts you, right, or makes your nose bleed, right, and that it doesn't stop bleeding the whole fight, Howard Letterman is going to give you defense or he's going to score defense against you, even if for the rest of the fight you're dodging most of the punches. No, you're bleeding. You lose the round. This is shit being put out there by HBO. This is ridiculous. That's stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That is dumb, right? That's stupid. I cannot even explain to you how dumb that is. Can't even begin. Well, what other shit have I heard? I mean, it's unbelievable the shit you hear. Right? I can't even believe some of the shit I hear sometimes. You know? Well, those are up there, the ones I mentioned. That have always been a pet peeve of mine. Like it's just factually incorrect to say these things. Right? You know, it's when it comes to, if you have a problem with the scoring criteria, then that's a whole other topic altogether. Right? But we have the scoring criteria that we have. It's not perfect. We can argue about it all day, but at the end of the day, that's the criteria that we have. You're basically scoring 12 individual fights. That's basically what you're doing. All right? Obviously, as a fight progresses, the punches you've been getting hit with and things like that have an effect to the following round. But scoring-wise, you're no longer getting credit for those punches. Now, the effects that you suffered from that the fighter suffered from those rounds, whether he's getting fatigued or slowing down, losing power or whatnot, right? That's going to play a role in the following round because you're going to be more susceptible to get hit, etc., right? But you're no longer getting credit for punches that were landed in other rounds. If you score a knockdown, that knockdown is relevant to that round. It's not relevant to every other round of the fight. Right? It's just not. Also, I can't stand, right? I cannot stand, right, the notion that just because someone is coming forward, that they're winning the fight. I can't stand that. Right? That's stupid. Just because you're coming forward doesn't mean you're in command. Right? That's not the way it works. That might not be your preference. You may not like a fighter that fights off the back foot, but that is irrelevant. Right? That is irrelevant. Right? If you want to support fighters that always come forward, then you support that with your money, and you support that by buying pay-per-view, support them by going to their fights, and this, that, and the third. But it's not relevant when you're scoring a fight. It's not. Now let's talk about this taking it from the championship. Right? It's implied that as a challenger, you have to do more in a round than the champion to beat the champion. Right? Now, in the surface, that might sound obvious. Right? But the thing is, it's not equal on both sides. You know? The champion has to do a little less than the challenger to win the round. That's the implication. If you want the title, you got to be the one pressing forward at all times. Like the rules where it says that in the rule book. Can someone find me where in the scoring criteria does it say in a championship fight the challenger must come forward at all times to prove that he wants a title? Like what? Can you find me this scoring criteria? Can you find it for me? Or does it have to be coming forward? Can you find me the scoring criteria where it says the following? We're going to go by clean, effective punches, ring generalship, defense and aggressiveness. And in the case of a championship fight, the challenger has to be more dominant in every single one of those, factors than he would have to be otherwise in order to take it from the champion. Find me something to that effect. You're not going to find it. All right? You're not going to find that. It doesn't exist. That is not a scoring criteria. You know who wins the round? The guy that won the round. That's it. No added nothing. All right? You would score it the same whether they're both challengers or one's a champion and one's a challenger. That's it. Two bums fighting, you score it the same. Whoever wins a round gets 10, loser gets 9. Simple as that. Right? If it's a number one contender fighting a bum, right, you score it the same. If it's a champion fighting the number one contender, you score it the same. It's scored the same. If you're the champion, you're the best. So you don't need help. You don't need, all right, a spread to start off, okay? You don't need assistance, right? Well, we don't add, 5 punches to your count right off the bat every round just because you're the champion. It's not the way it works. You're the champ. Go prove that you're the champion. Go show him why you're the champ. On the Marquess of Queensberry, it clearly says a fair fight. And what that means is that rules apply equally to both sides. Period. There's no added anything. All right? If anything, I'm pretty sure this folklore started something like, I'm pretty sure what was meant by this was, because back in the day, they would negotiate fights and rules, right? So I'm pretty sure what this started was when they said, no, to be the man, who watches wrestling, right? To be the man, you got to beat the man, right? I'm pretty sure what was meant by this was not if a round's closed, give it to the champion. That's not what they meant by that. Okay, they meant that you literally have to win the fight. If the fight ends in a draw or no contest, the champion keeps the belt. All right? The champion keeps the belt. You don't win the belt So if you want the belt, you need to win. It has the advantage of keeping the belt if it ends in a draw. And back then, all right, if they didn't have judges or something, if it just went a full 10 rounds, nobody was knocked out, whatever amount of rounds, right? Then that was it, right? They would declare it like a draw or whatever. And the champion kept the belt. So if you want the belt, go get the belt. Beat the champion. Beat him. It was never meant as if you want the belt, you got to do more than you usually would have to win. Right? I mean, let's apply this to every sport. Right? It's like saying, hey, if you're going to play the World Cup champions, all right? If you're going to play the World Cup champions, let me tell you, right? If you're going to play, who was it? Germany? You got to take it from them, right? You have to go there and score 5 goals to prove that you're better than them. One zip doesn't cut it. I mean, that's how you sound. If you Super Bowl, right? Or let's say the Super Bowl champions, every game, they're the Super Bowl champs. They start with 3 points on the board right off the bat, right? And you got to take it from the champs, right? So every play, the champs get no flags. The champs, you know, if the ref call it touchdown, you don't get we're not going to look into it. For you, we're going to have replays and everything, right? Because you got to take it from the champ. They don't got to take it from you. This is how you guys sound. If you apply it to any other sport, it's ridiculous. You got to do twice the amount of work in order to take it from the champion. This is like this. This is not a scoring criteria. It's not. And if it is, find it. Show it to me. Show me where it says that in the scoring. Show it to me. This is folklore. This doesn't apply. It's never applied. Like, yeah, the fight could have gone either way, but come on, he's the champion. You got to take it from him. If the fight could have gone either way, then guess what? He could have gone either way. That fact doesn't change just because one guy's the champion. But that doesn't change. Yeah, but George Foreman said that when he lost to Shannon. I don't care what George Foreman said. All right? If he lost a close fight, he lost a close fight. This implication that if it's a close fight, the champion is entitled to keep the belt. No. You're not entitled to keep the belt because you lost a close fight. It's not the way it works. If you lost a close fight, then champion means you're the best. So if you lost even, I'm going to steal a line from, what's that movie called? Fast and the Furious, but back when the movies were cool, right? I think it was the first one. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning, right? So if the NASCAR champ, right, gets beat by 4 inches, do they say, no, you didn't take it from the champ? I mean, you barely beat him. Come on, 4 inches. What's that? Come on. He's the champion. You know, he gets a 10 feet spread. Like, it's not the way it works. It's not. And you guys know it sounds ridiculous. You know it does. It's not a scoring criteria. I've heard guys say things like, in a championship fight, I don't know, man, if it's too close to call, at best it's 10-10 for the challenger. Like what? Just give it to a guy. Like, that's. Let me tell you something. If you're scoring 10-10 almost every fucking fight, and in my honest opinion, doing it right. A 10-10 round should be something very rare, where literally the round was fucking even. That should be a rare thing. The whole point of the 10-point must system is that you got to pick one fighter. Like, you got to pick. It's 10-9. You got to pick one. That's the whole point. No, but all close rounds go to the champion. Says, like, what? Who makes this stuff up? You can't make this shit up. If it's close, champion gets it. Like, no. No. If you think the champion won the round, give him the round. Right? If you can't say, yeah, the champion won that round, he probably didn't win the round, did he? Then he probably didn't win the round. All right? I think this is folklore that kind of got out of hand over time. Right? I think this started with the notion of, hey, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Right? And it went from that to what you got now. Like, people are applying it to scoring and shit. I think they took an obvious statement, right? They took an obvious statement, like, to be the champion, you got to beat the champion, right? And it blew into this thing where they're applying it to scoring. That's what it is. You guys know I'm right. You know it's ridiculous. You know it is. It's when you put perspective in it, it's a ridiculous thing to believe. And look, and I'll say this up front. There's a lot of channels that I like on here that say this stuff. That you got to take it from the champ. That's folklore, man. That is not part of the scoring criteria whatsoever, right? What was meant by that was, right, hey, you got to go there, make sure you beat him if you want that title. The shit isn't a draw, no contest. He's going back with the title. The champion has that advantage of retaining, of people saying, and still, he's got that advantage. That in order for you to become champion, you need to win 7 of the 12 rounds. The champion just needs to win 6 and get a draw, and he goes home, and they say, and still. That's all it means, right? That's all it means. Literally, that's all it means. Who wins the round? The guy that won the round. That's it. Who's champion? All that goes out the window when the bell rings, and they're literally boxing. Score the round for what it is. At that point, it's fighter A versus fighter B. Who won, A or B? The rules are the same. The scoring criteria is the same, whether it's 2 bums fighting or whether it's a championship fight. All right, that's it. If you're the man, if you're the champion, you don't need an advantage. That means that in a fair fight where things are scored the same as always, you're the best. That's what that means. All right? Anyway, DStyleBoxing, keep it boxing.